Hi guys! So I wanted to show you a really quick French toast bake that I'm going to make. And I've seen these on Pinterest. I don't have any recipe for mine because all the recipes I saw I was missing a bunch of ingredients, so I'm just going to wing it and see what I think would taste good. So it's a Friday night right now, and I wanted to have just a little something for Jax and I for tomorrow morning. So I've got a whole bunch of fresh blueberries and like a French baguette kind of thing. French bread? Yeah, French baguette. So I'm just going to use that and see what we can come up with. We've also got a bunch of eggs that we need to use up like lickety split. So here we go. Here's just like a 1.5 person portioning. Alright, so here's my bread, and I'm just going to cut it into little cubes. You could use Texas toast, which would probably work a whole lot better. But I was going to use this for dinner, and I just didn't get around to it. And I already have this other bread that I let go super rock solid, this guy. So I didn't want the same thing to happen, so I just figured I would make a recipe out of it. So I'm just going to cut these guys into little cubes. And they'll probably be fairly small cubes because the bagels, or the baguette's not as round, so something like that. And I will also be greasing my pan, just to make sure that I don't have any accidents. I guess you could call them accidents. So I'm super excited to have something that I can just pop in the oven tomorrow morning, and we can have a nice breakfast, because usually, I mean, I like having breakfast, I'm not a huge fan of baking breakfast in the morning, so this is my solution at night when I'm restless and done with all my house organizing / Pinterest projects. Well, project. That's singular. So this is going to get pretty monotonous, but I think you get the idea. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the entire baguette for us or not. Sometimes when I don't do an entire thing and I'm like, oh no, I'll save that for another time, then it goes bad, and then I'm like, oh, I could have had more of that yummy deliciousness. So I don't really know. But then if you bought the recipe, you're like, great, I could have had that for dinner or whatever. So I haven't decided yet. But I'm leaning towards half the baguette because I could always gear dinner tomorrow around it. I also, as a general rule, never give Jax things like this. I just don't. But he has been doing phenomenally with a lot of his allergies. And this is one of those things that we tried once, and it agreed with him okay. So it'll be definitely a treat item. Usually we will have some like organic free-range eggs for breakfast with salmon in them, and then a piece of his special bread that I buy him, and maybe some yogurt. Just depends on what kind of a mood he's in. So anyways, enough with the yakking while I boringly cut bread. So, there we go. We've got pretty much half of it, and I'm going to see what this looks like in the pan and decide. So I'm just going to go ahead and grease it. This is the size that I'll be using. So I don't know what the exact measurements are. You can't see that, but it is 8 by 8. So here's my 8 by 8 pan that I'll be using, and I'm just going to go ahead and grease it and then throw in my cubes. Okay, so next I'm going to grab some, I've just got some Philadelphia light cream cheese that I'm going to cube and then put in, like sprinkle it over to hopefully add some creaminess. One of the reasons I'm doing that is because I don't have any milk to put in it. I don't ever buy milk at all. So this stuff isn't really the stuff that you want to cube. Like, it's not as firm as the other stuff, but it's what I've got, so I'm just gonna, play it by ear. This wasn't really a planned recipe, so I just kind of make some adaptations as I go, and I think it'll turn out great. So I'm just gonna cube some up. I don't like a whole lot of cream cheese, it's not really my thing, but I definitely think a little bit of it goes a long way. So that's probably what we'll use, which is about that much of the container, and this is I think it's a 250 mil, or grams, sorry, mil. Silly me. what is it? 250 grams, yeah. So I used about a third, maybe just over a third. I'm just going to cube it up. This would be so much easier if I had the big firm stuff. And you know, it's funny, when I was in the store, I was totally going to buy it, and then I was like, nah, I'll never use it if it's in that kind of a form. This stuff is just super easy to spread over a bagel or something like that. Which I need to get in my fill of bagels before the Gabby starts for the month of August. Okay, so I still haven't decided if this is enough bread, but that's how much that first bit got me. So I'll probably do another layer after I put all my goodies. So I'm just putting sorry, I heard something outside, it distracted me, the cream cheese cubes, and hopefully they are small enough. It was just super hard to get them into a cube-like form here. Whoops. I'm missing the shot. I'm just going to sprinkle those evenly all over the place, and hopefully they'll add some yummy flavor. Alright, so we've got that, and then I'm going to sprinkle some blueberries on there as well. Okay, so here I have my light sprinkling of blueberries is all I've done. And then I've got, here's some 5 eggs that I'm just going to blend together a little bit for a second. And I'm going to add some cinnamon because I don't know if you can really have this without cinnamon. It just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me, but where's my cinnamon? Oh, dang it. There we go. Okay, so, yes, cinnamon. I am blocking all the light there. There we go. Let's see here, if I can get this. Alrighty. I like a lot of cinnamon, as you can see. Obviously, it's at your discretion. And then I might as well put that there. Silly me. Okay, so I've just got my 5 eggs I'm blending together with a whole lot of cinnamon, because that's what I love. And then the next thing that I'm going to be adding in, if I can get the bottle open, is going to be some maple syrup. And just a touch of it. Oh dear, I can't open this. I'm not sure if you all heard that, but that was my teeny tiny little thing of maple syrup like exploding. That's crazy. Look at the foam in the little lid. I just got one of these teeny tiny ones. I think I'm going to use a different thing of maple syrup now. I may just not edit that out like I was going to. Crazy. Okay, so adding some maple syrup in here. And it is, I mean, just kind of eyed it out. Doo-doo-doo. I probably should have measured that so that you know, but I didn't. So guess, how sweet do you like your French toast? I like mine really sweet, as you can tell. You can almost, I can totally smell that, and it smells scrumptious. Also, it says for milk. This may be atrocious, but I'm going to put just a little bit of whipping cream that I've got hanging around. Just check the expiration. We're good. Just a splash of it. That's just how we roll. I never follow a recipe totally perfectly. There we have it. There's our mixture, and I'm going to swap this out, and I'm going to spread this all over. I'm just cutting a few more bread cubes because I want to actually top the cream cheese and blueberry layer with some more bread cubes, and then I'm going to put the egg mixture. I think that'll be really good. And there's not a whole lot of depth, so I've still got some room, and that still leaves me with a decent amount for tomorrow's dinner or whatever, because it is just me and Rue. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that I call Jax Rue. That's our nickname for him. We call him Rue or Rue Bear or Jax-a-Roo. Oops, sorry, I nudged you. So if I ever refer to him as Rue, which I totally will, probably, definitely, a million times throughout VEDA, that's what I mean by it. So hopefully that's not too bizarre for anyone. We aren't really big on nicknames, and I don't really even remember how he got that. But the funny thing is our friends that actually don't even live locally here, they live on the other side of the country, they call their son, who's the exact same age, Mesa-Roo. And his name's Mason, so that's kind of funny. Alright, so here we've got, I'm going to move you. I'm just going to sprinkle these over. There's not a whole lot of them, but just an even layer of these guys. Alrighty, chunks are getting bigger. And now my egg mixture is going to go over these guys. And I want to make sure also, I'm going to take a spatula and make sure I've got egg all over the top pieces, because that's what is going to help them brown, I believe. But I can always do that tomorrow morning too, because it's not perfect. But I've definitely got some good doused pieces on the top, so I'm happy with that. I'll just spatula this out. Down the waist. So there we have it. That is, now the fun part about this is, contrary to generally what you do with French toast, I'm going to let this sit overnight. So I'm just going to put some tin foil over it and let it sit overnight, and in the morning pop it in the oven, and there we have it. We'll have some breakfast. I'm also going to show you the syrup that I'm going to make with this, because I don't have any syrup in the house, so I'm going to make some blueberry syrup from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to be making my syrup now. My measuring cups out. So I'm going to start by mixing. I'm going to do this on medium heat as well. I don't really know what I'm doing, just so you know, but we'll see how it turns out. I've got 1 cup of water. I'm going to also mix in 1 cup of sugar. Please excuse the noise in the background. I'm doing cloth diaper laundry right now. But the good part about that is, as soon as that load is finished, then I will have all my diapers clean except for the one that's on Jax's booty, maybe one that's in the car. So then I can do a proper cloth diaper vlog with all of my newest purchases and things like that. So I've got 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar, and 2, oh dear, I spilled on the burner right there. Not gonna be fun. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the water, the sugar, and the cornstarch until it's nice and thick, and then I'll add the blueberries, and then I'll simmer for like however long it takes to get where I want it to be, and then I should have my sauce. So I may actually whisk. I've got a couple clumps from the cornstarch, which was a, here, I'm just going to move you guys a little bit closer. That was a bad on me there. So I'm going to cook this until it's thickened. So it'll be nice and thick. I did this once before, and I made a blueberry one as well when Jax was really itty bitty, and I used Candid Mommy's recipe that she did with her crepes. So that was the last time I tried this, and it turned out really well. So let's see how this goes. And I don't really know if you have to stir it consistently, but I usually do. I'm going to measure out some of my fresh blueberries while I prep some things for Jax for tomorrow. And I don't know if you can hear that, but it is starting to burn at the bottom. Not like nothing that you can see, but it's definitely starting to make some funky noises. So I think this is my cue to add in the blueberries. So it's semi-thick, like it's really thickening up fast now. The more that I stir it, like I can actually feel it from stir to stir getting thicker and thicker and thicker. So I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe I'll let it go for another few minutes. I'm so indecisive. But yeah, you can probably see it. Just the way it moves and jiggles. I love making my, I love how I can make my own syrup. Because it's one of those things that is always on my grocery list. And I just always forget it. I don't know why. So that is actually getting really nice and thick. So I'm happy with that. Even if that was the thickness at the very end, I'd be decently satisfied with it, but it will get thicker with the blueberries. So I have my 1 cup of fresh blueberries that I'm just going to put in there, and I put about half a cup in, and then I'm going to put the other half. No reasoning for that. There we go. Maybe I'll turn a light on here. Oh goodness, let there be light. That's better. My apologies. So this is probably going to take about 10 to 20 minutes, I'd say. So I'm just going to stir and stir. At the end I'll put in some butter as well, but reduced the heat here. I had it at a 5 the entire time, which is my medium, and now I've got it at a 3. So I'm just going to let it simmer, I guess. I really need one of those little things, you know, the ones where so you don't get goopies all over your oven. Definitely need one of those. But for now, I'm going to have a goopy oven. I'll come back when this looks a little bit different, so probably in like 5 or 6 minutes, I'd say. They do look pretty. Alrighty, so it's been about 10 minutes now, probably closer to 15 minutes, excuse me. And I swear, those berries are not as red as they look on the camera. But nothing crazy has really happened. I think it's starting, like the berries are starting to really soften up. They weren't frozen, they were fresh. So I'm not sure frozen might be a different story. I used frozen last time and I feel like this process was a little bit quicker. But they're really starting to change the color of the actual, you can't tell because I've got a black spoon, but change the color of the actual base. So normally this would be like a super monotonous, boring process, but I have some lovely people in the neighborhood outside that have decided to grace me with their drama. So I'm just listening to some grown gentlemen talk about a recent breakup they suffered. And normally this wouldn't be really all that interesting, but it goes from like extreme sobbing to laughter in like no time at all, and I get so confused. But from what I gather, the breakup was quite some time ago, and the one person either sounds like he is the reason for the breakup, or he's trying to console him. I haven't been able to really decide. So I'm adding in my butter, and I'm just going to stir it until... Okay, so sorry for the crazy zoom, but my flip ran out of space. So this is what we're doing here. It's just thickening up. Nothing crazy exciting is really happening. After the butter melted, it started thickening up quite a bit faster. And that's about it. So I'm just stirring it, simmering it on low, and just seeing what it does. And I'll probably just take it off the heat for a while, and it'll really thicken up. And it still has some chunkies in it, which I think is okay. I'm totally okay with that, but you could always deflate them on the side like I did with the other guys. But I kind of like them wee bit chunky. Okay, so I've let it stand here for a bit, and I'm happy with it. It's nice and thick, as you can see. It's only thickening up, so I'm really happy with it. It's still quite hot, as you can see. It's steaming. It's still on the burner. Just turned it off. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I think it's going to be really delicious. I've tasted a little bit, and it's so good. So I'm just going to store it in this container here, and we are going to indulge in the morning. So I will certainly film that, even if it's just on my crappy phone, so I can let you know how it goes. Okay, so our oven is at 350 degrees, and we've got our breakfast in there. Yeah, I am sitting in front of the oven. Our breakfast in there. We just woke up. Jax, do you want to say hi? Where are you? There you are! Say hi! Hi! So it's in at 350, and I'm gonna just see how long it takes. We're just gonna play it by ear. So we still kept it covered with the foil, but it was on all night. Jax, what are you doing? He's like, Mama, sit down. That means she wants to nurse. Okay. Okay, so this is after half an hour, and I'd love to give you a better picture, but Jax is right here, so I don't want to open the oven. But it's not getting like a nice glaze on it like I thought it would. I still think it's going to be delicious, so I'm going to leave it uncovered for half an hour, which is from what I looked up from some other recipes that are similar. That's what it says. Okay, so sorry for all the noise again, but I am doing some more laundry. So basically this is what it looks like. It was in there for 45 minutes total, half an hour covered, and then about 15 minutes uncovered. I probably could have left it for longer, but Jax is already in his high chair, and he's getting antsy. So yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. So we are going to indulge, and I think it looks a little bit dry, some of these guys at the top, but had I left them longer, they would have browned a little bit better, and yada yada. So I'm not sure if I'd do the cream cheese next time. It didn't like gooey enough, but anyways, I still think it's going to be scrumptious, and we will keep you posted. Alright, so far Jax is trying some on his own. It's a little bit harder than I would have liked, but I think that's the difference between using a baguette and Texas toast. So, let's try it out. He wouldn't let me feed it to him though, so he's just exploring on his own for a bit. Seems like he's doing pretty good though. Is it delicious? He's focused. Alright, so the verdict is Jax wasn't a huge fan, but he's not used to like sugar ever, so the syrup was too much for him. But I liked it. I think I may have soaked these guys first, like dipped them and then put them in the pan. I don't know if that would have been different or whatever, but I feel like they're not evenly coated and it's driving me crazy. But they taste delicious, so. Anyhow, presentation.